Hey, thank you for speaking to us about Ride Your Wave.
Yes, I'm so excited.
And I love your pink hair. I think I've seen pictures of you as brunette for such a long time.
Yeah, I've been wanting to dye my hair for like years now, but since I booked that on-camera role for Alexa and Katie, right, I was about to get to dye my hair pink, like rainbow colors. I was gonna dye it pastel rainbow colors. Right as I booked it, I was just like, well, I'd rather do this role for a while than have rainbow hair. So as soon as I knew it was over, I cut my hair, and then I dyed my hair.
Well,
So
you look great, so
thank you.
you're welcome. Hey, so let's talk about this anime here. What attracted you to the project of Ride Your Wave?
Well, it's honestly a stunning film, both with the story and with the visuals. It's just such a gorgeous piece of art. And when I watched it, I cried like big time. Like I was like just tears are streaming down my face. It's such an emotional film. And I've loved anime for years, like since I was really young. I think I started around 2012, 2013 watching anime. And Sailor Moon was my first anime.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I've been wanting to be in the anime scene for years. And so finally being able to do a role in an anime dub was a dream come true, especially a lead in a movie where I get to sing. So it's like the top of my bucket list. So I'm filled with joy.
You're no stranger to animation before because you voiced a lot of animations before. So how is this different from those previous projects?
Very different. I mean, it's still voiceover, so there's a lot of similarities, but where they're different, it was really something to get used to. It was a really good learning experience. I mean, 600 cues for like 3 weeks of recording every weekday for like hours. And having Stephanie Shea being there to help me walk me through learning all the ropes of all the new wording that they use in anime dubs and not in other animation that I had never heard before. I get to learn all the acronyms and all those things in the script that I didn't understand. It was just it was like a whole new world, honestly. But I loved it so much. I mean, I think the main difference is that with voiceover, like usually what any read is a read that's a good read because the character does anything that the person who has been cast as the role like wants to. So like if the line is saying like, who is she? It could be, who is she? Or who is she? Or who is she? Right? Like it could be a whole bunch of different ways. But when you're already doing it to a picture, you have to match the feeling that the picture is giving and kind of take inspiration from the Japanese original track. So it's a lot. I mean, a normal in not normal, but like in without dubbing, like just voice acting for the original animation, is a lot more free to do whatever you want, and there's no wrong read because it could be completely different to what they expected, but they're just like, hey, we like that read, so we're gonna keep it, even though it's completely different than what we thought. So being able to work with Stephanie and her getting me into that headspace and learning all the ins and outs of how to like read the faces and listen and do the matching the lip flaps is all new things that I had to learn. And I'm so glad that Stephanie was there to help me learn everything about it. So yeah.
So when you started the project, you had to watch this in Japanese. So you watched it with subtitles first?
Yes. I mean, I'm learning Japanese, so I'm in my I took a break for a while I was doing Alexa and Katie because it was just too much. But I've been doing it for around 3.5 years now, learning Japanese. I still get a lot of anxiety speaking it, but I can understand a lot. And so, and I did it because I want to be in the anime world. That's one of the main reasons why I learned Japanese is because not only because I love Japanese culture and I love so many things about Japan, including the kawaii culture and the Harajuku fashion. And I could just talk about all the things that I want to go travel there and go see. But it's really nice to know like sentence structure and what they're actually saying, so that I not only can I take the subtitles as information about what the original intent was behind the line, but also the original acting and the intonation and the phrasing of the line and the subtlety in the jokes. So yeah, I watched the movie with the subtitles, and it was such a good movie. I cried so much when I learned I got the role. I was like, my brain didn't even go like, oh my gosh, what, really? My brain just went, no, because my mom was the one who read it to me. She was like, Merit, you have to read this, because she saw it in my email. She's on my email. She was like, you need to see this. I don't know which role this is, and I was just like, that's the lead. No, you read it wrong. I was like, that's not possible. I was in denial for like a good like hour and a half. I was just like, this is a mistake. It can't be me. And I was like in so much shock.
I could tell that you love the Asian culture because of the room decor back there. Are you like into J-pop and K-pop and all that kind of stuff too, or?
Yes, I do love J-pop. The person who kind of introduced me to kawaii culture was Kyari Pamyu Pamyu. When I saw Pon Pon Pon, I watched a bunch of, back then it was like viral back in like 2012, 2013. And I saw it, and it was a bunch of people reacting saying like, oh, that's weird. What does this mean? Why is there a shark flying in the sky? Why is there eyeballs coming out of her mouth? And I was just like, I love it. I was like freaking out as a kid. I was just like, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. And so, yeah, every day I've slowly been gathering more cute things and letting go of my not so cute things. And now I'm here. And hopefully eventually I'll be pastel things.
Love it. Hey, so tell me about the development of the voice, because I know there's one way to develop voice for animation, but you have to develop a certain voice for anime too, right?
Yes. I mean, I don't want to say the anime has its own style, but it kind of has that, like the like noises, like the noises, the Japanese efforts that have to be translated into the dub are very anime. And so, yeah, I do. I'd like to say that I do. It depends on the character, honestly, but I tend to do more character voices when I audition for American animation productions and Western animation productions rather than anime dubs, because especially with this movie, it's very real. And so I didn't want to do a character voice. So, I mean, I have a pretty low voice, so I decided that I should make it just a little bit lighter and happier and softer and just a little bit more sweet and soft, because I really love the direction that the original Japanese voice actress did. And so I tried to kind of keep a little bit of that in my own read. But yeah, when I do American auditions for American animation and Western animation, if it's like a crazy character, like a fish or a squirrel or something, like I love going crazy and going like, wow, and making crazy voices. I love voiceover so much. But yeah, that's how I kind of discovered the voice for Hinako. I wanted to be very real.
Now Hinako's voice isn't anywhere similar to like Frosta from She-Ra that you developed, right?
No, I mean, they are both higher than my voice. Most of my roles that I get are higher than my normal voice, because I have a little bit of a gravel in my voice. And sometimes, like with Frosta, I use more of my gravel, but I take out the lowness. So it's like, hi, I'm Frosta, right? Whereas, and it's very like sharp sounding. Whereas Hinako is like very like, hi, I'm Hinako, nice to meet you type, very soft. And like, yeah, and like then there's Sophia the First. It's like, hi, how are you? But yeah, most of my voices are higher. I think it's just because I love doing cute voices and higher voices, and so I think that you can kind of hear the love coming through, and so my reads have a little bit extra love in them when they're higher.
Tell me about the singing. I mean, you have to sing for this anime here, and how many times you actually had to repeat that line of the reflection on the water line that you?
Oh, how many times did I have to say it? Well, we wanted it to be the right feeling for every time that she said it. So I think, I mean, some lines were really fast. Like we only had to do it like once or twice. We usually, even if it's right on the first time, we always do a second time just for safety, just in case something goes wrong with that first take. So we'll be like, great, just another one for safety. And I'll just do the same thing just to make sure that we got it. But for the singing lines, we needed to make sure that it was like in the right tempo and match the lip flaps, which is a little bit harder when you're singing. So I don't know. I must have said it like I don't know how many times I said it while recording the first line, like the Kibi ga nagamete iru in English, of course, but I don't want to spoil it for the people who haven't seen the English one yet. But I'd have to say like an estimate of like 70 times, because every line took us like 10 times. Like sometimes it took us like 20 if it like went into another line. So it was a lot of fun though. And I love doing the full song. It was so much fun. It was the last thing we did. And I got to hear Joey's voice. It was one of the first times I got to hear him talk a whole bunch because by the time he had started recording the part and he had caught up to me, oh, there's a cat. Sorry. I saw a cat in your house. And
I have a cat.
But yeah, I got to hear his voice right at the end, and I was just like, oh, that's what he sounds like. So I had like something else to work off of, and I got to hear his read. Is it called a read if you're singing? But his read for the song part of the film, like the full song. And it was so nice to hear his choices, where he decided to laugh and make jokes and stuff. And so I got to play along with that.
What was it hard to sing with somebody who's not in the room with you? I mean,
it was a little difficult because again, we're social distancing right now. So I got to do it in my house, in my closet, in my recording studio, in my closet. We have like a bunch of foam in there. And it was like a really precarious situation because we had to like stick my iPad like up in the foam. Like we peeled back some of the foam and like stuck it in the foam so that I could have a screen to see the picture. And I had my like lines taped here and on my cat. I have this monkey we call it this script monkey. It's like a fingerlings monkey, and we have it wrapped around the mic stand. And I'll have it like hold my script. When I told Stephanie about it, she was just like, you realize that the production company of this movie is called Science Saru. And I'm like, oh yes, and Saru means monkey, and so we call it Script Saru during the filming. But yeah, it was a little bit harder for Stephanie because when I was singing on time for her, it was off by like half a beat. So it was like two people singing completely off beat. She couldn't tell if I was singing on the right time because she had to like edit it and make sure that they were lined up. Because for me, I was singing on time, but because of the lag, because she was recording remotely, I'm recording remotely from her, and we're not in the same building, and it's via the internet. It had a tiny bit of lag, and so it was like listening to the same song, but one's a little bit off sync from the other. It's a little maddening. So props to Stephanie for doing that. It was crazy, but it was really fun.
Well, that's the magic of editing.
Yes.
Now, Hinako is a surfer. Can you actually relate to that? Do you surf at all?
I don't surf at all, but I love the ocean. I've been obsessed with the ocean ever since I was a kid. I thought like I need to be a mermaid so that I can go underwater and see the depths of the ocean. I was obsessed with fish. I loved going to the beach. I loved going to the pool. I just loved water. Even now, I love the ocean. And so the ocean has a lot of meaning for me. And so it makes this film, like, it made this film, this being my first anime role, and just this film being so beautiful and being about water has given water even more meaning in my life. So, yeah. But I don't know how to surf, but I really want to learn. I mean, I think I'm good at balancing, so hopefully I'd be able to do that.
But at least you had omelette over rice like they did in the anime, right?
Yes, and I've been actually, because we make rice and eggs sometimes at our house, And now I've been putting my egg on top of my rice now, and like making omelet on rice because it's so good. And when I watched the movie, I showed my dad the movie and I showed my parents the movie so they could watch it because they sent me the movie, and so they could see what I was going to be working on. And my dad, the first thing that he said was like, "What?" Well, he was crying. He was just like, "Now I'm hungry. I want omelet rice. I'm gonna learn how to make it." So now we've been like on the hunt to try and make the perfect omelet rice.
I know. I think yesterday I tried to do it myself and I totally failed. So
It's hard to make it look pretty, but no matter what, it tastes pretty good.
excellent. Well, let me start wrapping things up. Do you have upcoming projects for yourself? Are you hoping to do more animes?
Well, I love anime, so I'd love to do more anime. I mean, Sailor Moon is like my favorite. I love Osomatsu-san as well. But yeah, I love anime. I'd love to do more. It was such a great experience to be able to do this movie. But this is the biggest thing I have coming up. But I have a few more things that are happening. So keep your eyes peeled, and also check out Alexa and Katie because it just came out, the final season of Alexa and Katie, and the final season of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, which I'm both a part of. So check them out. They're both on Netflix.
Well, hey, we'll all check it all out. Hey, thank you very much for speaking with me. And I could actually say you're in the first movie that I ever seen that a girl falls in love with a water bottle.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I need a water bottle, and I did draw Minato on the water bottle.
There you go. You should totally do that. Hey, appreciate this conversation. I loved it. Hey, thank you very much for taking your time.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hopefully one day at a convention or something.
Yes, I love conventions. So I it's honestly one of the biggest things I miss is going to conventions. I love them. But yeah, totally. It's nice to meet you, and thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Have a
Bye.
nice day.